Hey everyone, I'm Adam, and this is...
I'm Abe.
We're from BoLS, and today we have the brand new Harlequin Codex.
Yeah, there'll be no clowning around.
No clowning around in this review.
Super serious.
Super serious. Send in the clowns, Abe.
They're already here, Adam.
They are already here. Oh man, so there's a lot to cover in this book. This book has a lot of the same stuff from the index and the you know, lore-wise too, from the previous Harlequin book. There's a lot of copying and bringing it over because they were an old faction that got brought back. So they got a lot of updated stuff when that happened.
And they're a fairly recent update.
Right.
So there wasn't a ton of stuff that changed.
Right.
They also do build off stuff we saw in the Craftworld Eldar Codex, and especially the Dark Eldar Codex, the Drukhari Codex. A lot of the lore stuff kind of ties in because I think one of the things we're seeing now is with the rise of the Ynnari, the Eldar storylines are beginning to come back together in some ways and intertwine a little more.
Yeah, especially in terms of like allies and stuff like that. They're definitely, there's this merger, this nexus point where, you know, the Ynnari are the nexus point where they all come together to face these new threats. They actually talk about that in the lore section quite a bit, how the arrival of Enid has actually brought a bunch of the masks have introduced that character in their dances now, and that's kind of helped solidify the new Eldar God of Death as a part of the pantheon. So
What death?
that's your death gesture, Jan.
Yeah.
Death.
And they also do talk about Vect, right?
Yeah.
And so we saw some of Vect's story talked about in the new Drukhari book, where he faces death.
Yeah.
He becomes a Harlequin muse or death.
Yeah,
muse
he
or
fakes it
something.
for a while. Yeah.
So that's told from the Harlequin point of view in this book. So I think it's really cool actually to see lore-wise, rather than these, like them actually kind of being like, no, the Eldar are one race. Like they have their differences and their splits, but in a lot of ways they're still one race, and tying that back together because a lot of the times in the past they were very distinct, and you didn't really get the idea that they were their same race, that they had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but now it's definitely you can definitely they all look the same, but now you can especially the way 8th edition is with list building. You want to bring everybody together and run these kind of Eldari armies as one. With, and you can tell it, like they were saying, there are different factions among them, but they are one race now.
And I think that's something. Funnily enough, it's something that kind of pioneered with old Warhammer Fantasy and the end times. Yeah, when you had the High Elves and the Dark Elves. Yeah. And they were very different, distinct for a long time. And then they kind of came together.
To fight off this big threat.
Right, to fight the big threat.
And we all know how that ended.
So we're calling it now. The Eldar are going to be eaten by Slaanesh.
Oh, Slaanesh is going to eat them.
Yeah.
Slaanesh will disappear for 3 or 4 years and come back. Come back. Oh,
here's some Eldar souls.
Skipping ahead. So Codex Harlequins real fast. It's just some technical stuff. It is hardback. I believe it's 70. I want to say 76 pages. Let me double check.
It's not the biggest codex we've seen.
Sorry, it is 80 pages if you count the back color plate. It's full color. It's really pretty.
It's a pretty book. Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool art and stuff in the book too. So
there's probably more colors in this book than any other book, because the Harlequins are kind of a bright, colorful army. Let me see if we can flip to some of those big color plates real quick too. But yeah, it's not the biggest book. No, but again, Harlequins are a smaller army just in general.
Yeah, here's a nice, cool color plate. As you can see that they did it.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic looking. These are sprinkled throughout the book.
I love one of the stories apparently in here is there's like a certain group of the Harlequins that's going around doing these really sad dances places that make everyone just really cry, and they specifically go to worlds that have Nurgle infestations basically, and whenever they cry, it heals the Nurgle infestation because they're like the Tears of Isha, right? And they believe that like if they can make all the Exodites or all the Eldar cry at once, it'll bring Isha back. Because that's the thing, like the Tears of Isha. So, like that's their whole gimmick is they're like, we're gonna be real sad, and maybe if everyone cries together,
if we all cry at once, it's like clapping for fairies.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we all cry, Isha will come back. It could happen.
I mean, Peter Pan is probably a Harlequin. Like
the Great Harlequin.
Yeah.
Real fast too. There's a ton of masks in this book. Not all of the masks actually have rules. Right. But if you are playing Harlequins, you know the crazy paint schemes. There's tons of inspiration in here for you that you can pick out a mask that suits your paint style or you know what you're going for. So there's lots of different ways to paint them up.
And this book has sub-factions.
It does.
I think it's probably one of the few smaller codexes that has sub-factions.
Yeah.
It would have been really easy, I think, to not do sub-factions for them.
Right.
They're a fairly smaller book, and just give them one thing.
Awesome color
that's
plates.
A great one.
Where they're fighting a keeper of secrets. Fighting Slaanesh. They do not like Slaanesh.
For some reason, I cannot figure out why.
Put my finger on it. There's also the ton of for each unit entry. Obviously, it's going to have like a page and a half of background.
As we've seen, fairly standard.
Yeah, so we're skipping around here.
But a lot of good artwork. In this
fantastic
book.
stuff.
Some new, some reused.
I love this spread
I really
too.
love this. Yeah,
Of the star, what is it? The
Star Weavers and the Void Weavers. Yeah,
so cool looking.
It's real cool looking.
Yeah.
You don't see like the underside of vehicles much.
Yeah, it's true. You should do more shots of them flying over you.
But,
There's also the webway, which we will cover in more detail.
The webway portal.
Which is kind of a neat thing. We're going to dive right in, though. We're going to jump into the rules now. So we're done talking about the lore and the cool art stuff. That's all in this book for sure. Their special keyword is the mask keyword. If you don't know, the mask are their special, kind of like chapter tactic.
Right, let you count as any other character, right?
What's that?
The mask? Like you can disguise yourself as other characters?
No. Quit clowning around, Abe.
It's all the mask!
We talked about this. No clown. Oh, I was kidding.
Sorry, that's Siege.
But you pick your specific mask. Obviously, there are unique masks in this book that you can choose that have special rules that go along with them too. But yeah, there's not a ton of units in this army.
No,
there are actually. I don't even think there's any new units. I think maybe the True Master, but not even that. Like True Master's the HQ. Shadow Sea is the other HQ. I think that's it for the HQ slot, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 2 HQ options.
So True Master is your kind of budget HQ choice.
Yeah.
He or she is actually really good.
I think. Oh yeah.
So the things that are hallmarks of the Harlequins, right?
Yeah.
Lots of attacks.
Really fast. Strength and toughness 3.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
across the board.
You're an Eldar. Sorry.
I think pretty much everything in the army has a 4-up and vulnerable save.
Yeah. Most of the stuff is going to have a 6. Some things have a 7-up.
Yeah,
but you know, in reality, you're going to be using your invuln save. Just about everybody in the army has a flip belt.
Flip belts are also real important.
And the hollow suit, or some variation of those.
Yeah, flip belt lets you ignore models on terrain as if it wasn't there when you're moving.
Yeah, basically you have fly, but not. Then you also have, most of the time, you have an ability called Rising Crescendo. That is an ability that says this model can advance and charge in the same turn. In addition, it can fall back and still shoot and or charge in the same turn. So basically, everything in this army has fly.
Right.
with those two rules combined, we are Captain Fly.
They are, but they're better because they don't get affected by things that target fly.
Exactly. So like if you have a specific
+1 to hit against fly,
exactly
like that, it's not going to work against a lot of Harlequin stuff.
Speaking of +1s to hit, another feature of this army is lots of ways to get -1s to hit.
Yes.
For a specific unit or abilities to stack it to get up to a -2. We saw. So again, Harlequins are going to be fast, strength toughness 3, lots of close combat attacks, very glass cannony, very fast.
They're definitely glass cannons. Though, I mean, to be fair, once you start stacking that 4-up and vulnerable save, there are ways of getting 3-up and vulnerable saves on some units.
Yeah. Once
you start getting a 3-up and vulnerable save with a -2 to hit that unit,
surprisingly, they can make specific units very durable.
Very durable.
But yeah, if you're not using all the synergies, you will get shot off the board real quick.
Definitely.
I feel like this army's biggest, scariest weakness is hurricane bolters or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. It doesn't like hurricane bolters. Though it can be kind of a large army if you want to go budget with your units and not trick them out. We'll get to that.
Well, let's touch on that real fast before we get back into what the troop is. A basic Harlequin trooper, if you will.
Right.
Starts off 13 points base. And can, if you want to really deck them out, can go all the way up to 30 points.
Right. But you can take one at 13 points with basically their close combat weapon and pistol.
Yeah.
So if you want, and the Troop Master himself, or herself, itself, theirself,
the Troop Master themselves.
Yeah. They start off at 70 points.
Yeah.
And
before weapons.
Yeah, before weapons, and their basic weapons aren't any points either.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you wanted to do a real cheap battalions like 330. That's their basic battalion.
Yeah, you could load up. You get a lot of command points.
Yeah, you can get a lot of command points. You can get, and that's not necessarily a horrible battalion. That's a lot. There are some good tricks they can do with just that.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do stripped down Harlequins at
you could
13 points for model 70 for an HQ. You can definitely run a lot of models in your army.
Yeah,
if you want.
I kind of like to go with the mix of vehicles. I feel like the Void Weaver and the Star Weavers, those are really fun models and fun to use, and their jet bike versions are really cool too.
They're good too. Yeah.
So they're fun, and again, that can be good points fill and give you some other options. There's some ways to move around. They have a lot of mobility tricks. Anyway, let's talk about the Troop Master now. As we said, budget guy. We've mentioned the stats.
Comes with so he hits on a 2+.
Yeah, 2+
shooting.
Yep.
He does have 5 wounds and 5 attacks.
Yeah,
so he doesn't get a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely. Comes with their basic Harlequin's blade and Shuriken pistol. Shuriken pistol is what we've seen. Harlequin's blade is just a weapon.
Yeah, it's
nothing.
It's nothing fancy. 1 damage, no bonuses. Now you can swap that out for the fancier versions with like a power sword, a Harlequin's embrace, a Harlequin's kiss, or a Harlequin's caress. So the Harlequin touchy weapons, as I'm going to call them, basically either add a strength, 2 strength, or like an AP or damage, and you kind of pick. It's kind of like the Wraith Guard with the Wraith.
Sure, I mean it's very similar. If you're like if you're a Space Marine player, it's very similar to like do you want a power sword, a power maul, a power axe.
It's those type of things. So like the caress is +2 strength, -2 AP, 1 damage. The embrace is +1 strength, -3 AP, 1 damage. The Harlequin Kiss is +1 damage, or sorry, +1 strength, -1 AP, D3 damage. So you have your choice depending on what you want to do.
Depending on what you want to do. Yeah. So you're probably at minimum going to be when you actually take a Troop Master, you're probably going to give him something. So he's probably going to have. They are probably going to have at least +1 strength.
Yeah.
And most likely going to have and some sort of AP.
Yeah.
The real weakness that they do run into having though is they don't have a lot of weapons that do high damage. The only weapon they have the only close combat weapon they have that does more than 1 damage
is the Kiss.
And that does D3, which isn't very
D3.
reliable.
It's D3. It's kind of spotty. On the flip side, because they flip a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Shooting wise, pretty much everything can take a fusion pistol in this army.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It's only a 6-inch range. Strength 8, it's a melted pistol.
It's a melted, yeah.
But if you get within 3 inches, you roll 2 dice. Pick the highest damage. It's D6 damage. So strength 8, AP -4. It's pretty mean.
It's definitely mean.
And the fact that pretty much everything the army has access, like even all of the troops, all the basic troops, you can just have a whole unit of fusion pistol guys.
Yep.
Run you a lot of points. Maybe you don't want to do that, but there's ways to get around that. We're going to get into that a little bit later.
And remember, pistols can be fired in combat.
Yep.
And they can all fire. And most of those units that can take pistols can fall back and still shoot if they want to.
Yep. And there's actually a mask. I'll skip to that now. Where you can fly, and if you're in a transport that can fly and you advance, all your pistols count as assault weapons, so you can shoot all those too. So if you're flying around in a transport, zooming around and pew 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 with a bunch of fusion pistols, it can be pretty mean.
Yeah, and one of the tricks you can pull with them, just to talk about it, because they have flip bolts, let you ignore enemy units. You can charge into an enemy unit, then survive the 2 rounds of combat, and even if they're still there, you can actually fall back by popping over their unit, getting into their backfield, and then fusion pistoling their backfield. So if they have characters hiding behind their units or vehicles that are being
can't hide from these guys.
Yeah, you can flip over those units and get in there. So those are the options for the Troop Master, which really means you're looking at between like 70 and 90 points. He's not going to go above 90 points, I think. Now, he does have that Rising Crescendo, which we talked about, the flip belt, and the hollow suit.
The one we didn't talk about was the Choreographer of War.
Which is amazing.
Yes. This is the in the fight phase reroll failed wound rolls for all friendly mask units that are within 6 inches of this model. So if you're the same mask and you're within 6 inches, you're re-rolling your wound rolls in the fight phase.
Yeah, remember how we talked about Harlequins generally have a low strength?
Usually 3 or 4. 3 or 4, or, depending, up to 5.
Up to 5,
but
it's 3 base between, and then up to 5 with weapons. But suddenly, when they have a lot of attacks, and suddenly when you're re-rolling all your failed wounds, well, that makes up a lot for that low strength.
It does. It can. It certainly can.
Yeah.
So the synergy is definitely there between a troop and a troop master, fitting based on the names alone. So
you want to have some troop masters.
Yeah, you want to have some troop masters. Let's talk about the Shadow Seer.
Ooh.
This is their Psyker. Cool model too. It's got the what is that? The Neuro Disruptor, which is an old school
kind of
crystal gun. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Still movement 8, hits on 2s across the board. Still strength toughness 3.
In fact, the stat line is almost identical.
5 wound, 3 attack. Only 3 attacks.
Less attacks and a 7+ armor.
A 7+ armor save randomly.
Yeah.
But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's got a hollow suit. There's a 4-up invuln.
Definitely.
Still has Rising Crescendo, foot belt. Those are the same. Has a similar options. You can replace the Shuriken pistol. It comes with the Neuro Disruptor, which, by the way, we haven't talked about yet. 12-inch range, one-shot pistol, strength 4, AP -3, D3 damage.
D3 damage. It also comes with, he just comes standard with a hallucinogen grenade launcher.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually a pretty cool weapon. It's an assault 1, 18-inch range.
Yeah.
Grenade launcher. It doesn't have any strength or AP, but if a unit's hit by this weapon, roll 2d6. And if the roll is equal or greater than the target's leadership, I think it just suffers 2-3 mortal wounds.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy.
It's great, actually.
Fun note, it actually works on vehicles as well.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no restriction on that. The Neuro Disruptor does have one. If you're attacking a vehicle, instead of doing D3 damage, it only does 1 damage.
Because vehicles don't have brains.
I guess the Machine Spirit doesn't have a neural network to disrupt.
Nope.
I don't know. And then the Misstaff, which is just their Force Staff.
Yeah.
It's a +2 strength, -1 AP, D3 damage.
It does have. It can get 2 psychic. It knows it can attempt to do 2 psychic powers a turn.
Yeah, it knows two psychic powers, can attempt 2 psychic powers, and can deny 1.
1, sorry,
yeah.
So it's standard psychic pretty much.
Yeah, and no smite, obviously.
Real cool thing that this model does is it has a shield from harm rule.
Yeah.
So your opponent must subtract 1 from wound rolls for any attacks made against friendly masked infantry units that are within 6 of any models with this ability.
That's a really powerful thing. Anytime, again, this is something you're going to see echoed out through this book. Anytime you can mess with your opponents to hit.
Right. Well, that's wounds. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
wound rolls.
Wounds. Yeah.
Subtract 1 from your wound rolls.
Right.
Sorry. There are, when you combine that with the -1, which is what I was saying.
Right.
Anytime you can mess with your opponent's die rolls, you're changing your odds, obviously, in your
Definitely.
favor.
So, I mean,
yeah.
And again, that's both shooting and combat phase.
Yep.
That's not limited in one phase. So when you start looking, they have toughness and strength 3, but when you start looking at things like, I can reroll all my wounds in the combat phase, and the enemy's taking a -1 to hit, or -1 to wound. -1 to wound is actually in a lot of ways better than being toughness 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Because your strength 5 weapons are now
Yeah. So
-1 to wound, and
-1.
then there's other ways to get minuses to be hit.
So suddenly you're starting to make up for those.
They are a glass cannon on paper, but when you get them all together, suddenly it's a pretty thick glass.
Yeah, bulletproof glass.
Bulletproof glass. Yeah. So the basic troops are your troops. The troop.
Yep.
You can have
the troops.
Yes.
How many troops?
You can have 5. It contains 5 players in the troop. You can have up to 7 more players. It's kind of a weird thing to do. That's 12.
Yeah.
I guess it's an old throwback to the number of guys in a unit, but I don't know.
Is it like the number of people in a Greek chorus or something?
I don't know. I'm sure it's some kind of.
I feel like there's some reference to that we're missing.
I don't know.
They're pretty. So I mean, these guys are almost like just normal Eldar, right?
Yeah.
Except, so they're movement 8.
They have a lot of attacks.
Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength 3. Like it's almost.
They're 3s across the board. Movement 8. Yeah. 1 wound.
1 wound.
4 attacks. Though.
Which is.
Leadership
great.
8 and strength. Save of 6 up. But again, you have the hollow suit, so you have a 4 up and roll.
But like I said, 4 attacks again.
4 attacks on a base dude is not anything to sneeze at.
Not anything to sneeze at.
I've played games against orcs. You get a squad of boys charging you with 4 attacks a pop.
So a 13-point model with 4 attacks that you can get them a chance to reroll all their failed wounds. And that's fast enough to actually get places.
Yeah, the movement 8 is huge. I don't think a lot of folks realize how big a deal that is. Just you can actually play a foot Harlequin army and get them across the board.
Yeah,
there's other tricks in the book to do that too.
I mean, considering you can advance and charge.
Yeah, it's huge.
You're gonna be even on foot. You can be combat on turn 2.
Yeah,
right?
You guaranteed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
That's a minimum of an 18-inch move plus 2d6 charge.
Yeah.
Right? If you're rolling 1s on your advances.
Right.
So.
You're going to get there.
Should be able to get there,
yeah. On top of that, they still have the flip belt, so ignoring all that stuff. We mentioned the hollow suit already. Rising Crescendo, so they have all those tricks. Any model in the unit can replace your Shuriken pistol with a Neuro Disruptor or a Fusion pistol, like we talked about. And you can replace your Harlequin blade, which is the standard stuff is the pistol and blade.
Right.
You can replace the blade with the Embrace, Kiss, or Crest, just like the Troop Master. So you have all of those same options. And again, they range from 13 points base all the way up to 30 points if you really want to deck them out. Right. And you can customize your Harlequin troop to fill whatever combat role you
exactly.
As long as those rolls are short range, killy, or stabby.
Yeah. I mean, I think. you know, you wouldn't go wrong by taking a base unit without a lot of upgrades and throwing in 1 or 2 fusion pistols to deal with vehicles, and that's a budget unit.
That's a budget unit. It's pretty effective.
Right, that's going to be less than 150 points probably, or so. And do some good work. Or you can make them super expensive and throw them in transport
and go
put out like, I mean, what they could
up to 12 fusion pistol shots.
Yeah, 12 fusion pistol attacks, and then like 60 or 70 strength 5 attacks that reroll wounds. And
just saying.
Yeah, so I mean,
they can be scary. I think their biggest, probably their biggest weakness is going to be getting there. But with the movement 8, like we talked about, they're going to get there eventually. It's just can you make enough invuln saves to make it count?
Definitely.
So that's it for the troops. Next up is the Death Jester. We're already in the elite section. Again, small codex. The Death Jester hasn't really changed too much.
No.
He's still awesome. Movement 8 just like everybody else. 2s across the board in terms of weapon skill, ballistic skill. 3s for strength and toughness. 5 wounds, 4 attack space. Leadership 9, 6 up save. But again, has the hollow suit.
The Death Jester is a character, so hard to target.
Can't even target him.
They come with the Shrieker Cannon.
Yep.
Which has
2 modes.
Yep. They're both strength 6, both 24-inch range.
Yeah.
You have Shrieker, which is an assault 1 weapon, minus 1 AP. If you roll a 6 to hit, it is AP minus 3.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 6 to wound.
6 to wound.
Yep. And then if you kill an infantry model with this weapon, that unit then suffers D3 mortal wounds as a result.
Yeah.
And then in addition, if any models in the unit are slain by this weapon, you subtract 2 from their leadership characteristic.
So it's a really weird way to mess with somebody's leadership with the Shrieker version. The Shrieking version is basically Shrieking Cannon.
Yeah. That's all 3 straight 6.
Yeah. But it's interesting that, you know, if you do kill a model, you get that extra D3 mortal wounds and then mess with their leadership.
Yeah.
It still has Rising Crescendo, a hollow suit, we mentioned, flip belt, all that fun stuff. It has 2 other rules, though, that make it unique. The first one is Deadly Hunter. This model may target a character even if it is not the closest enemy unit. So you can snipe dudes.
You can snipe dudes. And remember, this is an elite, so if you're playing new with the rule of 3 and everything, you can still take 3 of them. And then if you wanted to combo it with a Eldar or Dark Eldar list, you could take another model that could target characters, and you could have 4 units with some decent mid-range attacks that can just snipe out enemy characters.
If you slap them in a transport, you can float around shooting. It's an assault weapon too. So that's going down.
That's pretty good. And then they also do have Death is Not Enough, which is a pretty fun, unique rule. I don't think it comes up much.
Yeah.
But if any models flee, so fail morale test and run away from a unit in the same turn has been attacked by this model, note they don't have to be.
Not in close combat. It can be a shooting attack. It just has to be attack.
Either close combat or shooting.
Right.
And it doesn't have to actually have done anything either.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be wounded. It just has to be attacked.
Have to be attacked. If they do flee, you can choose the first model that flees instead of the opponent choosing.
This is pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think because you can effectively snipe out the things you want to remove.
Yep.
So, like, if you're shooting at a Primera squad, you can make the Sergeant take off.
Yeah.
Or if you're firing at a Death Watch Primera squad,
and
you're like, man, I really don't want to deal with that Terminator.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and remember, if you do manage to actually kill models from that unit, they're going to take a -2. So
odds are good.
That's not bad. You might actually get to use that.
Yeah. Next up in the elite slot, we have another elite, the Solitaire.
Ooh.
Solitaire is mean.
This is their close combat elite.
Yeah, this guy or gal. Let's just read the stats off real fast.
Yeah.
Movement 12.
Mm-hmm.
Weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+. Strength toughness 3. 5 wounds. 8 attacks. I did not stutter.
Yeah.
8 attacks.
Leadership 9. Strength 6+ save. You can only take 1.
Can only have 1. Only one of this model may be included in your army. It's called a Solitaire, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It comes standard with a Harlequin's Caress and Harlequin's Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have any shooting attacks.
Nope.
It is a straight up close combat monster. There's no options. Special ability wise, again, flip belt, and it has Impossible Form instead of Hollow Suit.
Yep.
Impossible Form is a 3+ invuln save,
which is pretty great.
Mm-hmm. And it also has Rising Crescendo. So pretty cool stuff. Just standard Harlequin stuff.
They do have the Path of Damnation, so they can never have a Warlord trait, which made me real sad because
Yeah.
there were some things you could have done.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's solid.
It's solitaire.
Yeah, they're not going to lead.
And then Blitz. Blitz is a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a once per battle ability that you do. Instead of making a normal move with your solitaire, you make a Blitz move. When you do that, you add 2d6 to your move characteristic, which is 12,
Until the end of the
until
turn.
the end of the turn. In addition, its attacks characteristic is increased to 10 until the end of the turn. And this ability may not be used if the model has been selected as a target of Twilight Pathways Psychic Power in your previous... That's the teleport one.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, though, you're going 12 plus 2d6 for your move.
All right, I'm not sure if you can advance with that also.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because your move characteristic.
Right.
You add 2d6 to your move characteristic when you advance.
So yeah.
You're just going...
Well,
you go
but a Blitz
3d6.
move, I think you might be able to do 3d6. I'm not certain.
Oh.
I'd have to go double check to see if advance
plus-
says only when you're doing like a normal move and a Blitz move is a
Yeah,
normal
well,
move.
I don't know, because let's assume you can for right
Yeah,
now, because
so-
that's 3d6.
12 plus 3d6, which that's a first turn charge.
That's a first turn charge for sure. And you get 10 attacks on that turn.
Right. I mean, even without being able to advance, it's quite possible moving 12 plus 2d6 and charging 2d6.
Yeah.
And you could be in combat. You could start on your turn side and be in combat on turn 1.
Yeah. That's pretty... And you
with-
don't even have the deep strike.
You don't have the deep strike or anything. So with 10 attacks and your character sheet, you're not going to get sniped before that.
Yep,
and
yep.
3 from normal save. So if you're looking for that... I mean, this is like Wolverine, right? Like, this is the guy with the 2 claws that you're just going to throw at the enemy army.
Yep.
You're
Have fun deal with that.
Yeah,
I'm out.
yep, go over there. All right, we'll catch up. Like,
Yeah.
We'll see if all the bodies...
And the fact that it's got the
are
Chris
dead.
and the Kiss as the options for those attacks, you can split those attacks to what you want to do.
Yep.
For the extra strength shenanigans.
You want the strength and the AP, or you want the D3 damage?
Yeah. So that's pretty saucy.
I mean, that's a model that can do 30 damage in one.
30 theoretically.
Theoretically, I mean, I'm just saying.
Theoretically,
Like,
if you use the
theoretically,
Kiss,
yeah.
And you
Like,
hit with all 10 attacks and did,
Is
all
it likely? No.
D3 damage each.
But could you one-shot a knight? Yes.
If your dice were all 6s all the time, which is my battle plan,
Yeah, definitely.
you could one-shot a knight.
You
with
could
this
one-shot
thing.
that, yeah. So, I mean...
If it failed all its saves.
Right.
And you rolled perfectly.
Well,
But yeah,
there's not a lot of, like, single normal-sized infantry models.
it's true.
That can say they can one-shot
That's
a
true.
knight.
It's very, very true. Maybe you can... I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Get up next to the guy, let you reroll the wound.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Skyweavers. We're already in the fast attack.
Yep.
Like, we're moving through...
Yep.
Skyweavers, these are those cool jet bikes they got that have, like, the extra guy that rides on the back.
Yeah.
Pretty
Weaving.
fun.
He's got a big loom. Blue's Fate. Tells James
No.
McAvoy who to
Wrong
kill.
guy. Wrong guy.
No?
Wrong
That's-
weave. They don't bend bullets in this one.
Angelina Jolie's?
No.
I bet if anybody bends bullets, it's Harlequins.
You know, he's got
Just
a point.
saying.
He's got a point. Skyweaver is a jet bike. It's a biker with fly.
Mm-hmm.
It has a 16-inch move, 3 weapon skill, ballistic skill, 3 strength, 4 toughness. Hey, something that has, hey, woo! We're tough now. 3 wounds, 3
Not
attacks.
infantry, so can't take him on a wound.
That's true. Which isn't as good. Anyway, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, and a 4-up armor save. X-A's armor.
Oh,
Hey.
I like how the model that has 2 guys on it has less attacks than just the normal dude.
You know, I'm not even. He's focusing on driving. The other guy's got to use one hand to hold on.
It's
So
like, what?
they don't have mag boots. I don't know.
That's fair.
It comes standard with a shuriken cannon and star bolos.
Ooh.
So it has a haywire cannon as an option. The shuriken cannon you can swap it out with the that. You can also replace the star bolos with a zephyr glaive, which is the big stabby thing. So haywire cannon, real quick, if you don't know, 24-inch range, assault D6, strength 4, AP -1, 1 damage. If it's a vehicle, you roll the wound on a 4+ with this weapon. The target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage. If the wound rolls a 6 up, the target suffers D3 mortal wounds instead. So it's your vehicle killer. They like Abe mentioned earlier, they don't have a lot of multi-damage attacks, not counting Harlequin kisses.
No.
But they don't have a lot of weapons that do multi-damage attacks. If you're fighting a lot of vehicles, those haywire cannons are going to be really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, this army is actually pretty deadly to vehicles because they
Fusion blasters.
Yeah, they have lots of
Fusion
fusion blasters.
Pistols.
I mean, pistols. But
Yeah.
again, you can take what?
Haywire
You can take 6 of these in a unit.
Yeah, you can. It starts with 2, and you can do up to 4 more.
Yeah. So I mean, with D6 with assault D6 each, and just needing 4s to do mortal wounds, like you can definitely roll in there and just mortal wound out vehicles. Not that hard. Actually.
You could one-shot a knight. That's not mathematically accurate.
No.
We're not with one dude.
Oh no,
It was a
we're
joke.
with one dude.
That was a joke, Abe.
No. I mean, You do
Yeah.
18 damage to him.
You could
do 18 mortal wounds to a
18
knight.
mortal wounds? That's not
how many wounds does knight have?
24?
24? You could.
Well, the unit could take it out.
No, one model could kill
One
a knight.
model?
Yeah, because if it gets 6 shots...
You get 6 shots.
And each of those wounds...
6 is D3.
So that's 66, which is 18, plus the 6 additional wounds that
if
it
they
did.
failed, you know?
If it hit a wound with
you
everything...
can one-shot a knight!
Oh! Every model in this army can one-shot a knight!
Do everything!
Yeah!
Oh.
But I mean, if you want to look at it, like, a unit of 6 would get 18 shots, would hit with 6 of them, would hit with 12 of them.
Yeah.
Would do, like, 7 or 8 mortal wounds on average, plus some actual wounds.
Yeah. You would put a dent.
Yeah,
sure,
so I mean, it's definitely, you can wreck some vehicles there. Shuriken Cannon is a Shuriken Cannon.
Yeah. Zephyr Glaive is a melee weapon, obviously. It's a +1 strength, -2 AP, and 2 damage.
2 damage, yeah.
So multi-damage attacks, we like those. And then the Star Billows, it's a 12-inch range as well. It's a grenade, so it's different. It's a grenade with an extra range. D3 attack with a grenade.
Yeah.
Strength 6, -3 AP and 2 damage. So again, not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Star Billows are free, but again, you can only fire 1 grenade per unit. So
maybe go with the other one.
Maybe give one model a grenade and then think about with some Zephyr Glaives or something.
Yeah. Aside from that, abilities wise, still has Rising Crescendo, Hollow Suit, so they do have a 4-up invuln. So with a 4-up armor save, whatever.
They do add 6 to the movement characteristics.
Yeah, Blur of Color.
Advance.
Yep, which is the add 6 to its move when they advance. Instead of rolling dice, you just go 6 inches.
Yep.
And then, hey, what's that Mirage Launcher there?
Mirage Launchers. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls made against this unit in the shooting phase.
Huh.
That's
This
nice.
is tougher than you think.
That's tougher than
you
you
think. They are tougher
yeah.
than you think.
And again, let's just think about that. What's the move again, Adam?
It was 16.
16, and they can advance 6 and charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's first turn charge with those guys too.
So yeah, because they're gonna go 22 inches.
Yeah.
And then a 2d6 charge.
2d6 charge.
And again, that the Zephyr Glaives, nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to
3
sneeze at,
attacks, strength 4 attacks, -2 AP, 2 damage.
2 damage, yeah. So I mean, you could.
Not to mention your shooting on top of that.
Yeah. So you could throw a bunch of those and a solitaire and
roll up in there. First turn. You could do some devastating stuff.
You can.
First turn.
Especially if you wanted to say take some witches that can also do a first turn charge.
Void Weavers. Again,
heavy support.
We're already to the heavy support now. It's thin Codex. The Void Weaver is a 16-inch move transport-ish vehicle. I say ish because we'll get to that. No, this is not the transport. This is the shooter one. This is the gunboat. Yep. Sorry, the Star Weaver is the transport one, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Void Weaver, 16-inch, 3s to hit for weapon skill, blitz skill, strength 5,
Woo!
Toughness 5,
Woo!
6 wounds.
It's a tank.
It's a tank. It's such a tank.
Yeah.
3 attacks, leadership 8, 4-up armor save. Comes standard with 2 shuriken cannons and a haywire cannon. So again, these are totally gunboats. You can swap out the haywire cannon for the prismatic cannon. So if you want to go over that one real fast.
Yeah. So we already talked about what the haywire cannon does, but the prismatic cannon is a kind of a weird version, kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
So it has 3 fire modes.
Now, real quick, it's 24 inches and it's all assault weapons.
Yes.
With 3 different fire modes.
Yeah. So you can fire Disperse, which is a D6 shots. Strength 4, -2 AP, 1 damage. So that's kind of your anti-infantry weapon.
Yep.
You can fire Focus, which is D3 shots.
Yep.
Strength 6, -3.
-3.
AP and D3 damage. Or you can fire the Lance, which is just a Lance.
Yeah.
Bright Lance or Dark Lance stat, basically. One shot, strength 8, -4, D6 damage.
It's interesting that they did that. You've got your infantry killer, you've got your heavy infantry kind of weapon, and you've got your anti-vehicle, all in one neat little package.
Yeah, so it's a nifty little thing. Again, this unit can add 6 inches when it moves.
Yep, thanks to Blur of Color.
Though it doesn't have Rising Crescendo.
It does not.
And it's a shooty platform, so I don't think you really want to advance with it.
You could, though, because those are all assault weapons.
Sure, you definitely could.
You definitely could. It still has hollow fields, so it's a 4-up invuln save as well. It has the Mirage Launchers as well, so you might just want to hit it. And it can explode. What I like about this chassis, the Weaver chassis, is that they don't degrade at all. They don't have a lot of wounds to go with, so it doesn't make sense for them to degrade. But as far as vehicles go, they don't degrade.
They're nice. They're like Vipers and Venoms.
Yeah.
They're that same very basic idea.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately for the Harlequins, this is one of those units that does get a little punished by the rule of 3.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing an all Harlequin list, this is your heavy unit.
Yeah. And you can only have one model in a unit.
They can't be taken in squads, unlike some other, like Vipers can be taken in squads.
Yeah, that would have been actually really cool to see, like, if you could take these in units from 1 to 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just an oversight or like an oopsie daisy.
Yeah, but if you were trying
it's not game breaking.
It's not. But it's cheap enough that you could want to take a few of them.
Yeah.
And it is your only heavy support option.
Yeah.
So it is a little sad. In fact, the Harlequin book in general, because it doesn't have a lot of options, it's got 10 units in it or something like that.
It's light.
Yeah, does, I would say, suffer from the rule of 3.
Yeah, maybe they'll put an FAQ out that says you can take this in a unit from 1 to 3. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, or, I mean, maybe they really do intend you to be running Harlequins alongside other Eldari.
I don't know. Moving on, though, we go to the Starweaver. We're already in the dedicated transport section.
Whoa!
That was quick.
Yeah.
Starweaver, same chassis as the Void Weaver, so 16-inch movement, same stat line, pretty much. Shuriken Cannon.
2 of them.
2 of those. Yep. Comes with those. No other options. But it is a transport.
Yep.
And I believe, how many guys?
6 models.
6 masked infantry models.
Yep. So very similar to the Venom.
Still has Blur of Color, Hollow Field, Mirage Launchers. It still explodes. And it does count as open top and has all those things.
So it's a fairly cheapish. I mean, it's not super expensive either.
They do have a caveat real fast too. Note that due to their rising crescendo ability, the passengers can shoot if this model falls back. So they want to clarify that the people that have the ability while they're riding can still shoot.
This is not a bad one if you wanted to spam a bunch of guys that have lots of guns, or if you want to fly around with your shuriken cannons and fire fusion pistols in the back.
Yeah. Pew pew pew.
All right, and then we have the most interesting thing in the book. I think this is a new unit.
This is new. Is it a unit? I guess it's a unit. It's a fortification.
That's
so
it's got data sheet. It's a unit.
It's a data sheet. It's a unit.
Yeah.
The Webway Gate. This is the huge new kit that's coming out. It's taller than a Knight.
Taller than a Wraith Knight.
Taller than a Wraith Knight. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wraith Knight's gonna walk through it because come on the Webway. I guess
that's true. It is a mobile. It is toughness 8 with 14 wounds and a 3-up save.
We really lied when we said Harlequins are all toughness 3. They've got toughness 8 stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Well, technically this is an Eldari.
So the only faction keyword it has is Eldari.
Yeah, it has keywords: vehicle, building, Webway Gate. So
see, it's a vehicle. It's definitely a unit.
Definitely a unit.
Why is this
but it is a faction Eldari. It's I don't know. It doesn't move.
It doesn't move.
Anyway,
so any of your Eldari factions can take this. Though.
Yes,
that's a key.
Yeah, a Webway Gate is a single model formed from 2 separate pieces. When setting up these pieces, place them so that an arch is formed with the bases 5 inches apart. So just note when you're setting this up, it's going to look like that.
Yeah.
Shimmering Arrival. So this is when you set this model up during deployment. It can be set anywhere up on the battlefield that is more than 12 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and any enemy models, and more than 3 inches away from any terrain features or the center of any objective markers.
A note that is when you set the model up, so it's not on the first turn. So it does get past the new deep striking restrictions.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can actually set that up as intended anywhere on the table, basically.
Yep. It's not a deep strike deployment. It has an Eldritch Aura. This model has a 5-up invuln save, which is pretty good. It's a 3-up and a 3-up 5-up. It's not too shabby.
And I mean,
it is a mobile. We talked about that.
Toughness 8 and 14 wounds. So.
Yep. Let's see. It's a mobile, so it can't fight. And any models automatically hit in the fight phase because it's a mobile.
Yeah.
It's a building.
Yeah.
Webway Strike. Hey, what does this thing do?
So after you set this model up, any Eldari units you have not yet set up during deployment, so you probably want to set this thing up first.
Probably.
Or something like that. Other than fortifications, so you can't Webway Gate.
You can't Webway Gate a Webway Gate.
Yeah.
It's cheaters.
Can be set up in the Webway, in a Webway spar, not the Webway, but in a Webway spar, rather than being set up on the battlefield.
Yep.
One unit in a Webway spar can emerge from each friendly Webway Gate at the end of each of your movement phases.
Yep.
Set them up wholly within 3 inches of the Webway Gate and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models.
Yep.
If all friendly Webway Gates have been destroyed, any units that have not yet arrived from a Webway spar are considered to be slain.
So, get your units, if you're going to put them in the Webway spar, get them out there as quick as you can. Because if they can shoot through a toughness 8 vehicle with 14 wounds with a 3-up, 5-up, Yeah.
Now, just like the Necrons, there is a stratagem in this book that if your last webway gate is destroyed, you can set up like one of the units as an emergency thing.
The last ability is webway gate. When measuring distances to and from a webway gate, measure from the closest point of the model. If a webway gate is destroyed, remove both arch pieces from the battlefield. So just clarifying how to measure to and from everything.
I'm not sure what to think about this, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting. I almost feel like I'd want to put it. I don't know if I'd want to put it in the middle of the board as a distraction, or put it to the side or something to have units come in from a secure flank or something.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that it's a cool way of letting units deep strike.
Yeah.
However, all the Eldar already have access to both Sky Strike.
Yeah.
And just
there's a webway
stratagem, so you can already pay points to let yourself deep strike.
And with the new rules, you do have to have at least half your forces on the table.
Force on the board. And I also think with the new rules, unless they clarify it to say otherwise, which would make the webway gate actually worthwhile, if you set this outside of your deployment zone, on turn 1 you can't bring things through it.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Because they would be reviving from reserves, and that means they have to be in your deployment zone.
Yeah.
So that really makes it just the same as paying a command point.
Yeah.
And I mean, the webway gate is, let's see here, 120 points.
Yeah, with no guns.
Yeah, so do you want to pay 120 points, or do you want to pay a command point or two for that ability?
That's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off. It also it is a downside that you can only bring one unit through a turn.
Yeah.
So
if nothing else, though, what I really like about it is it's going to be an awesome piece of terrain.
It is going to be a really awesome piece of terrain.
I may not be, like Abe said, I may not be using it for my Eldar that much. I might just use it on the table as a cool terrain.
I think the thing that really worries me about trying to use it as a thing, is that as the rules currently work, if I set this up like I probably want to in the middle of the board or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I can't bring anything out on turn 1.
Yeah.
I can bring 1 unit on turn 2 and 1 unit on turn 3, but after turn 3 all the units in reserve are destroyed.
Yeah, so but you can bring multiple webway gates. That's the other thing we talked about. You could bring up to 3.
Yeah,
and then have
up to 5, but it's just up to 5 in a detachment.
Oh yeah, you can't because it's rule of 3. If you roll 3,
you're right.
Because only one per.
You could bring up to 3 if you want to pay 360 points.
I don't know.
Yeah.
For a 360 point option for deployment, it seems a bit much. I'd rather pay 3 command points.
But I'm sure there's probably going to be some interesting tactics we're going to see with it.
Yeah.
We'll see if they clarify whether, if they allow, if units can come out of that on turn 1 outside your deployment zone, that changes everything I've just said. That makes it actually really great.
Yeah.
And much more useful for deploying random stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what tricks you come up with.
Yeah, we'll see what they say when they come out with the FAQ.
Yeah, but I do think it's an interesting trend we're seeing from Games Workshop in putting these kind of terrain pieces in rulebook, because we saw that with the Narwhal for Nurgle.
Right.
We saw that with the Ghost Shipwreck for the Out of Deepkin in Age of Sigmar, and now we're seeing with this where each faction...
Yeah.
Where factions are getting specific faction terrain that have rules that they can take and use.
I love it, personally. Yeah. I wrote a thing last year, the year before. Yeah, it was last year. Just about, like, hey, we need more Xenos terrain in general.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing these kits out that are not Imperial terrain.
Sure.
And they have a benefit on top of that. I think it's super cool.
And there's something you take, so it's not something that's, like, randomly on the table. That's always the problem is, like, there are some Imperial... Even the Imperials could use stuff like this. Because like, there is Imperial terrain in the book and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
but it feels terrain. It feels
like
Imperial, and it's not like...
It is.
If I'm a Tyranid player, I don't really want to bring the statue of the Emperor. It doesn't make sense.
So it's either someone randomly on the table already.
Yeah.
And that gives someone an unfair advantage.
Right.
Or you never see them, which is most likely what happens. So I would love if, like, the Astra Militarum got an actual Shrine to the Emperor model that they could take. That's 100.
Shrine to the Aquila.
Yeah, then make it a model in their army.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Give it rules. Give it.
Yeah.
I hope they do with everybody. I'd love to see more terrain kits in general, but that's just me.
So
moving on, let's talk about
rules.
Some of their special abilities. Harlequin units have, if you have a battle forged army, which of course you will. They all have Defenders of the Black Library, which is objective secured.
Which is all the troops.
All the troops, yep.
Get that. And
which is their one troop.
Yeah.
Anyway, mask
all
forms.
The troops.
All the troops.
All troops of troops. I don't know why they said troops and not troops.
I don't know. With a U or the...
Yeah.
Mask forms, that's your chapter tactic option. There's 6 of these.
These are pretty crazy.
Some of these are crazy. Some of these are kind of, and then some of them are like, what? So, we'll blow through these real fast. There's, first up, Midnight Sorrow, the Art of death. Units in this form, mask form, can move an additional d6 inches when they fall back. In addition, they can consolidate up to 6 inches. Remember, they all have flip belts.
Right.
So when you're consolidating, whoop.
Yeah, one of the interesting things you can do with that is consolidate. If you can pull it off correctly, you can actually consolidate to the back of enemy units, and it's really good for locking them in combat.
Yeah.
So you can basically get on both sides of them if you.
Just want to clarify one thing too. When you consolidate, it's closest to enemy model. If you're already in base to base, you're already
in base to base. So you want to make sure you don't actually move into base to base, and then consolidate closer to that.
Yeah. So
just
throw it out there.
Yeah, you do have some weird options like that.
And the D6 fallback, an additional D6 fallback is kind of neat because most of these units can charge.
Yeah, so if you really want to, you can be very, very mobile. We're
Yeah.
talking about how most of them can shoot and fall back. So we're talking about how you can flip over, you can fall back over the enemy army.
Yeah.
To get to the battlefield. Now you can really do that.
Yeah. Veiled Path Riddlesmiths is probably one of the weirdest. I think it might be a little frustrating for some players as well. It's weird. So at the start of each fight phase, roll 2 dice and discard the highest result. Until the end of the phase, each time your opponent targets a unit with this form and makes a hit roll that, before modifiers, exactly matches your dice result, that hit roll fails.
Isn't this the same or very similar to the Tzeentch Demon Foci?
Kinda. It's just... You roll 2 dice, discard the highest. And so if I rolled like a 3 and a 4, I discard the 4. So every time you roll a natural 3, 3s automatically miss.
Right.
Which, I have a question about that too, because like, modifiers happen after rerolls, right? Or is it, I get it mixed up now?
Yes, modifiers happen after rerolls, yes.
So, I guess you're gonna miss. If I'm a Marine and I hit you on a 3-up, and you roll a 3. Okay, Marine rolls a 3 to hit. Boom. 3s miss.
And then reroll.
But then, if I had an ability to allow me to reroll that and then add up...
It gets a little weird. I think the problem I have with this is it seems really good, but there's a pretty decent chance with rolling 2 dice and having to use the lowest that you're going to get like a 1 or a 2.
Which again,
against like 80%, 90% of the models in the game has absolutely no effect because they're like, if you roll a 1 to hit me, you miss, and you're like, already did, sure do, boss, sure do.
Yeah, but there's the off chance you could roll a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, no, definitely, or 2 6s, and be like, oh, you had special things that do happen on 6s.
Yeah.
Those are all misses now.
Yeah, and again, my question is, what happens if I roll that in?
Yeah,
Anyway,
there's definitely
just remember your order of operations. Is what I'm saying. Moving on. Frozen Stars, Hysterical Fury.
This is probably the easiest one to use.
Yes.
And I think you're going to see this defaulting a lot.
Because it's just simple.
Yeah. If a unit with this form charges in the charge phase, add 1 to their attack characteristic until the end of that ensuing fight phase. So remember how those guys had 4 attacks?
Now they have 5.
5, yeah.
And they're going to charge because they can fall back and charge.
Yeah, or they
advance and charge.
Yeah, they can advance and charge.
They're going to get the charge off.
So I think... that's going to be a real popular one.
It is popular because it is both simple and good.
Yes.
Moving on from there, Soaring Sprite. I like this one as well. I think it's neat. Models with this form that can fly or are embarked upon a transport that can fly treat all pistol weapons as they're equipped with as Assault 1 weapons during a turn in which they or the transport they are embarked on advanced. In addition, these models do not suffer the penalty for 2 hit rolls while they're shooting those weapons. In the turn in which they advance. So it's neat because you could load up on a transport with a bunch of fusion pistols and float around and get 6 fusion pistols. I think it's neat.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting one. It's something you need to.
You want to build the pew pew pew.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to build an army around that. Yeah. That's not an easy one to use.
Ideally, though, it's a mask form. So you would pick that mask form and go to town.
Definitely. Dreaming Shadow. This is the Somber Sentinels. When a unit with this form fails a morale test, only 1 model in this unit must flee. In addition, each time a model with this form is slain or flees, roll a d6 before removing that model. On a 4+, this model can either shoot with one of its ranged weapons, as if it were the shooting phase, or make a single attack as if it was a fight phase.
I like this one because if you fail a morale check, you only lose 1 guy ever. On top of that, every time you lose a guy, you roll a die on a 4+, they get to make 1 final stab.
To me, that's most definitely the most attractive part of it, because this is a great one again if you want to give like everyone fusion pistols. Right? Getting those few fusion pistol shots off. So
I
that's
do.
great.
The biggest downside I think to this ability is that it revolves around you losing models, which is not a good sign.
That's not a great thing.
But it's not bad.
Right. It's also important to point out that mass forms do affect everything in the army. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just infantry or anything. So this could be your void ruler, right?
Yeah.
With one of the big haywire cannons, something
Yep.
like that. If
Yep.
it dies
Yep.
on a 4-up, it can fire its haywire cannon before it dies. So I think it's much more useful for shooting.
Yeah.
I don't think that the losing one model on morale test is particularly useful because most things in this
They're
army
like
are
leadership 7 or 8
well,
or 8 or 9.
They're all 8 or 9, and there's
Yeah.
not a lot of big units in this army.
Right.
It's a lot of single model units.
Yeah. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
It sounds good on paper and function on 4-up to get one final attack seems cool. Again, it's not bad. It's just you're triggering on losing your own models, which is never a good sign.
Yeah. I also love that like half of the Harlequin mask symbols are like question marks. Right? Like
they're confusing for some reason.
What are these things?
Last up is the Silent Shroud Dance of Nightmares Made Flesh. Sounds delightful.
Definitely.
Subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of enemy units while they are within 6 inches of any units from your army with this form. In addition, whenever your opponent makes a morale test for a unit that is within 6 inches of any units from your army with this form, they must roll 2 dice and discard the lowest. So, if you have a way, Death Gesture, to cause a bunch of leadership check minuses, you can stack it. Maybe a Hemlock. What?
Yeah, this is definitely the Jester mask, I would say, because you can just between a Death Jester and their gun, you can get someone to -3.
Yeah.
If you have maybe some Drakari allies or something, you can really start to stack those minuses on.
Hemlock still does have minus leadership, right?
I think so. I don't remember.
I'm thinking of the old. It was like an edition or two ago.
So
you could push people off the board with
Hemlock,
a Death Jester and a Hemlock just by causing a bunch of modifiers and then making
definitely
them run off
some good options there, and then you get to pick who dies on that unit.
Yeah.
So we're on to stratagems.
We're not going to go through all of the stratagems because they've shown off of most of them.
Yeah, and a lot of these stratagems are
we'll read them off.
Repeated in the Eldar or Dark Eldar books also.
We'll touch on some of the unique ones. So Great Harlequin. Use a stratagem before the battle. Select a troop master from your army. That unit gains Great Harlequin keyword and the Will of the Laughing God. In the fight phase, reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly mask units that are within 6 inches of this model. Obviously, you can only use this one once per battle, and it costs 2 CP.
Right.
So pretty straightforward. You pick your troop master. Boom. He gets. He has an additional aura, which is kind of nice.
Which is great.
Enigmas of the Black Library. That's your relic one to give him a relics. Webway Assault. That's Webway Assault.
Prismatic Blur, 1 command point. Uses after a Harlequin unit from your army has advanced. You get a 3% vulnerable save until the start of your next turn.
It's pretty good.
Which is great, especially because they can normally advance and charge. So you can throw them into combat with that. And
which is nice.
Survive there. Hero's Path, I think, is junk. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Hero's Path is the one where you have to have Death Jester. It's a joke. It's the start of a joke. A Death Jester, Solitaire, and Shadowseer walked up to the table, and then immediately teleported away.
Yeah. So,
but if they're near each other, they all have to be within 6 inches of each other. You can remove them all and then move them anywhere on the table, 9 inches away from them.
2 command points. They all move so fast. And they have to be in. They still can't land within 9 inches of the enemy. So.
If you want to go snag an objective real fast, maybe at the last turn.
But you really don't want your character snagging it. Yeah, you really don't want your characters doing that.
What is this? Sigurath's Jest. Yeah. This is an interesting one because when your enemy falls back, you can shoot them.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny. So
if you're taking one of those more tricked out units, and they're like, "I want to get out of here," you're like,
"Gotcha."
Take a bunch of melta pistols.
Yep. The 100 Swords of Vol. Use a strategy at the start of the first battle round. Before the battle round begins, select 1 Harlequin unit from your army. Remove this unit from the battlefield and redeploy it anywhere in your deployment zone. If you select a transport, all units inside remain so when redeployed. If both armies have units that can redeploy, you roll off.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can be useful, but it's one of those things.
I'm so tricksy.
Yeah, it comes up rarely. You've got other armies that do similar things, and you never see them. You rarely
you only use that the first battle turn, and I don't see it happening very often. What else are we gonna go? Tournaments of the Fiery Pit.
It's actually a pretty great one.
That one's not bad. It's 1 CP.
Yeah, one CP. Use this in the fight phase before attacking with a Harlequin's character from your army that has lost any wounds in the battle round. until the end of the phase. Increase the strength characteristic and attack characteristic of that model by 2.
So suddenly, you could theoretically have a character with
who can kill a knight in 1 round.
You can kill a knight in 1 round.
Oh, now I'm straight 7 doing D3 wounds.
You could do that to the
solitaire.
the solitaire.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
12 attacks because 10's not a cap anymore.
Yeah.
12 attacks.
Strength 7.
Does he have? I don't think the solitaire can get the plus. Can it?
He has the +2 -2 damn.
+2 -2.
Yeah,
does he get the plus?
That's the
he
crest.
does. Oh yeah, you can. Well, if you use the crest, you're not using the kiss.
No.
But you. Oh man, you could totally one shot a knight.
One shot a knight.
One shot a knight.
One shot a knight.
If you one shot a knight, tell us in the
tell
comments because I want to know about it.
Yep.
If you don't have photographic proof, though, you're a liar.
Yeah. So we got some other stratagems. We got War Dancers, fight twice.
Yep.
Again, great. Especially if you want to use that with that solitaire. He's
Oh,
got 12 attacks and just be like, hey.
Vessel of Fate, use the stratagem in your psychic phase. A Shadow Seer can do a cast another power. We've seen it before. Fire and Fade, what's that? I've never heard that one before.
We've seen it.
Yeah, that was from the Eldar.
Yep.
Shooting
dramatic entrance. You can heroic intervention within 6 inches.
Yep. We've seen those before.
Sure.
Warrior Acrobats. Movement phase. Use it in the movement phase.
Advance D6 instead of D6.
You advance just straight 6 instead of rolling. So that's cool. Shrieking Doom.
Yeah. So this
Death Jester one.
Actually, really great, I think.
Yeah.
So use this stratagem before Death Jester from your army shoots a Shrieker Cannon or Curtain Fall, which is a relic,
which is actually can be good.
Use the weapon using the weapon Shrieker profile. Increase the weapon's strength characteristic by 1 and its damage characteristic to do 3 until the end of the phase.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
Especially because if you're shooting. Remember, if you need to kill a model to do that D3 mortal wound. So if you're shooting like Primaris or something like that, and you want
to kill a model outright,
and then you can do that extra D3 mortal wound. So that's pretty nice there.
Isha's Weeping is select a Harlequin unit.
Use it at the end of any phase. Select a Harlequin unit.
If that Harlequin unit has lost a model, you can give them a 3-up invuln for the rest of the turn.
Right.
Which is interesting. Again, it's a way to make you guys tougher, and it's also a way to give another unit a 3-up if you've already used Charismatic Flurry.
It's kind of a really weird one, though, because I guess it's not until the end of the battle round, it's until the end of the turn, and you have to use it at the end of a phase. So,
right, and typically you're probably going to trigger this in like your opponent's shooting or psychic phase if you lost the model, and then for the fight phase, you'll have 3-up.
Yeah. It's actually probably best used in the shooting, in the psychic phase. If they smite you and then they're like, "I'm going to shoot you," you're like, "Ha ha!"
Well, I have
about that. Yeah. Mirthless Hatred makes you good at fighting Slaanesh.
Yeah, gives reroll hit, failed, reroll failed hit and failed wound rolls against Slaanesh units.
Yep.
I mean, shockingly enough, the Harlequins are good at killing those guys.
The Labyrinth laughs. That's the one I was mentioning earlier. If a stratagem, if the last webway gate is destroyed. Actually, just not the last one. Just when a webway gate is destroyed, before you move the model, you can set up one Eldari unit from your army that has not been deployed, wholly within 3 inches of the webway gate, more than 1 inch away from enemy models.
So they can come in danger close.
Yeah.
Lightning fast reactions,
which actually might be the key with webway gates. Then
you wait till they blow it up.
Wait till they blow it up, and then show up an inch away from them. That might be.
That would be a good joke.
Whoa!
Oh yeah. Lightning Fast Reflexes is 2 CP. Use this one when your Harlequins are being targeted by a ranged or melee attack. Subtract 1 from all hit rolls made against that unit for the rest of the phase.
Yeah.
That's pretty, again, stacking those -1s.
Yeah. And that's not an infantry, doesn't have to be an infantry unit or anything. So one of your biker units, one of the units that already has Mirage launchers, you can do that on. Haywire grenades.
We've seen that one before.
Haywire grenades. No price too steep is the Midnight Sorrow stratagem. So these are
again, there's 6 stratagems for each mask form. This is the Midnight Sorrow one.
Yeah. So they let's see what this is the
if a Midnight Sorrow character is slain,
right?
Yeah. Before you remove it, it can fight as if it were a 5 phase. But if it was the Solitaire or was a character slain by a Chaos unit, add 1 to its strength and attacks characteristics when resolving this fight.
Yeah.
It's that last Desperate Savage. Man, a Solitaire.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely one you want to use on a Solitaire.
Yeah. Capricious Reflections is the Veiled Path. Use a stratagem at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Select one of your units. That unit can immediately perform a heroic intervention as if it were a character, so you just jump in there.
Sure.
Not bad.
Yep. Malicious Frenzy. This is the Frozen Stars stratagem. Use it before a Frozen Stars unit from your army fights in the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to wound rolls for attacks this unit that target enemy infantry, beasts, or biker units.
That's not bad. If you're fighting other infantry, +1 to wound, suddenly you're 3 up. You're 3 strength.
Yeah, possibly re-rolling wound still.
Yeah.
We're getting some good stuff there.
Yeah.
An example made, this is the Dreaming Shadow stratagem. Use it in your shooting phase. Select a Dreaming Shadows character from your army. Until the end of the phase, each successful hit roll made by this model causes 2 hits, whereas hit rolls of 6+ made by this model cost 3 hits.
Which is interesting.
It is good. Again, this is a great one for your Death Jester.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing to read here real quickly is let's just double check something.
About the Death Jester?
Yeah, about the Death Jester.
What are we looking at?
So each time, if you're fighting Shrieker, right? Each time an infantry model is slain by an attack made with this weapon, it suffers D3 mortal wounds.
I see where you're going with this, Abe. So, examples made. You cause 2 hits.
2 hits. Or 3.
Or 3 if you roll 6.
Each one of those kills a model.
That's
D3 per model.
Per model.
So using that, you can possibly do 3 kills and then do D3 extra mortal wounds. 3 D3 mortal wounds.
It's not bad.
Well, that's not bad. You probably really want to do that.
You want to look out for that to make an example. And again, that's the Dreaming Shadow. And it is a character, so it is Death Jester eligible.
Or, I mean, you can throw it on just your guy with a fusion pistol and be like,
that's another option.
I hit you with 3 fusion pistol shots. Bam! Take that, Knight.
Hey, Knight, how's it going?
Yeah.
Take these,
take 18 wounds.
Yeah, I can one-shot a Knight.
Yeah.
Sky Stride. Well, that's not quite a one-shot. Anyway.
I mean, they charge you and they one-shot you.
Yeah, it's true. Sky Stride is for these soaring spite guys, the infantry for them. When they consolidate, instead of moving towards the nearest enemy model, the unit consolidates 6 inches towards the nearest soaring spite transport from your army. That's interesting. If all models in the unit in this move within 3 inches of the transport, the unit may immediately embark if it has sufficient capacity, as if it were the movement phase, and can do so even if it disembarked from the Wow!
Yeah.
That breaks a couple of core rules.
It does break a couple of rules, yeah, and that's pretty great.
Anytime something lets you break core rules, you need to take note. And this is one of those abilities that's like, not only do you not have to consolidate towards the nearest enemy, you can go towards your transport, and if you all end within 3 inches, you can embark, even if you disembarked in the same turn.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's not bad at all.
Yo-yo.
Yeah.
The yo-yo stratagem.
Definitely great. Silken Knife. This is a silent Shroud stratagem. Use it at the start of the charge phase. Select a silent Shroud unit from your army. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch against that unit in this phase. Can't fire Overwatch. That's never bad. It's never bad. It is 2 command points. A little pricey. But always great.
And then finally, Webway Ambush. Use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Choose a Webway Gate from your army. Either 2 units in the Webway spar can emerge from that Webway Gate this turn, or 1 unit can emerge from that Webway Gate this turn and can be set up wholly within 3 inches of it and more than 1 inch away from enemy models. There's the other way. Okay,
yeah.
So
if you're using some stratagems, the Webway might act. The Webway portal is beginning to look a little better.
I don't know if it's worth taking 3, but there you
go. One thing that's interesting about this, so this is a Harlequin stratagem, so you do have to have Harlequins to trigger it.
Yes.
But it doesn't. So you have to have a Harlequin to get access to the stratagem, right?
Yes.
But it does not target Harlequin units.
It does not.
So if you have Harlequins and say other Eldari units,
I see where you're going with this.
Any Eldari unit can be set up in the Webway spar to use
this.
This can be used on your non-Harlequin Eldari units.
Hey, not too bad. I'd love to drop some Wraith Guard out. Danger close.
But the question is, do you have to have Cabal of the Black Heart to use this?
Do you? Why don't you?
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah. Let's talk about the psychic powers real fast.
Yeah.
Twilight Pathways. That one is I believe the teleport one. This has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select a Harlequin unit within 3 inches of Psyker invisible to it. That unit can immediately move as if it were the movement phase. So you can't use it more than once a turn on the same unit. But you can't use it. Match play rules, you can't do it anyway. But that's neat. It lets you do an extra movement.
It does not use an extra
It's not a teleport like I thought. I thought there was another teleport, but that can't be used with the Solitaire. I mean, you can use it on the Solitaire, you just can't use the Blitz ability.
Well, you can. So you can't use it if you were targeted by the Twilight Pathways previous?
Yeah, in your previous Psychic phase.
Yeah, but you could do this and then use Twilight. Because
move happens before Psychic.
Move happens before Psychics.
Interesting.
So you can immediately move. So you, so you can do it after you've done your blitz move.
So you declare your blitz move, and then you get hit in the psychic phase with that.
And remember, this both advancing and the blitz increase your move characteristic till the end of the phase, to the end of the turn. So if you say roll 7, and your move becomes 19.
Well, hang on. That's until
end of this turn.
End of the turn. Yeah.
And then you'd be like, I move 19. Oh wait, let me do Twilight Pathways. I move 19 again.
But you have to be within 3 inches of it.
I'm just saying, if you really need to get across the board,
maybe you're going horizontally.
Yeah, if you're going, exactly. If you're doing some weird repositioning stuff. It's so you can move.
I blame you.
You can move 19 inches back to your guy, so you're within 3 inches.
That's what it is.
And then move forward 90 inches just to mess with them.
Fog of Dreams is a warp charge value 6 power. If manifested, select an enemy within 18 inches of the psychic visible to it until the start of your next psychic phase. Your opponent must subtract 1 from hit rolls that the target Harlequin infantry units. Yep. Again, stacking those minus ones.
Yep.
That's you could get. Oh, it's
targets an enemy unit.
Right. But I'm just thinking like. Right now we're at a -3. Because with this ability...
You're only at a -2, because you got this and Infect Reflexes.
What about the...
-1 to wound.
Oh, -1 to wound, yeah. Yep.
So
you can't take the Harlequin, the launchers, the gas...
Right.
Okay,
but
so it's still a -2.
You get a -2 to hit and a -1 to wound, which with a 3+ invulnerable save.
Up to a 3+.
Yeah.
So surprisingly resilient.
Yeah, so if you got that real deadly enemy unit.
Mirror of Minds. Warp charge value 7. Select enemy in the 24. Both players roll a d6. If a Harlequin player roll is equal to or higher than their opponent, then the target unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Repeat this process until the target unit is destroyed or the
enemy... Period, end. There's nothing past that.
No. Yeah. Repeat this process until the target is destroyed or the enemy player rolls a result that is higher than the Harlequin player's roll.
Yeah.
You want to dice off for it? Let's do this, man.
Let's do this. This is my strategy.
Wow. That's an Abe power if I've ever seen one.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Veil of Tears, warp charge of 7. If manifested, select a friendly Harlequin's infantry unit within 18 inches until the start of your next psychic phase. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made against that unit.
Again, another...
Now that, so that is... Now you can get a -3.
Now we can get to a -3.
Because you can put that on your unit, and then if the enemy unit decides to target... I mean,
those are 2 separate powers?
Those are 2 separate powers. Now, why the enemy unit that had a -1 to shoot you would target the guy that has -1... And then you can use Lightning Fast Reflexes.
You get the idea.
Yeah. So, all right. There's your -3. If the stars align.
If the stars align. Shards of Light. Warp charge value 7. Select an enemy unit with an 18. Visible to the Psyker. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds and must subtract 1 from its leadership character until the next psychic phase. Not bad. Not bad. It's a smite with a twist.
Yeah, with a twist.
What a twist. What a twist. Webway Dance.
If Warp charge of 7. If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase. Roll a d6 whenever a friendly Harlequin unit within 6 inches of the psychic loses a mortal wound.
Loses a wound.
Loses a wound. On a 6, that wound is not lost.
Feel no pain.
Yeah, sure.
6 up, feel no pain. We'll take it. We'll take it. Warlord traits. There are 6 generic ones and 6 warlord traits for the specific masks. I'll read off the generic ones real fast.
Sure.
Luck of the Laughing God. Reroll hit rolls, wound rolls, and damage rolls of 1 for your warlord. Not bad.
Not bad, especially if you give them a kiss.
Yeah. Fractal Storm. Your warlord has a 3-up invuln save against melee weapons. Remember this one for later.
Yeah, sure.
Just want to keep note. Foot in the future. Add 2 to your warlord's move characteristic. In addition, add 1 to the distance your warlord can move each time it advances, falls back, charges, performs a heroic intervention, or piles in or consolidates. Extra move.
If you want to get there. Yep.
Foot in the future. Player of the Light. Reroll failed charge rolls made for your warlord and friendly mask units while they're within 6 inches of your warlord.
All right.
So it's not bad. Reroll. We can see this army really needs to get into close combat, and that's actually one of the stronger ones in my opinion, just because getting the reroll to help ensure that.
Definitely nice.
Player of the Dark. Each wound roll of 6 plus made by your warlord. Each wound roll of 6+ made for your warlord's attacks in the fight phase inflict 1 mortal wound. In addition to their normal damage. Just a way to get some mortal wounds.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Player of the Twilight. Once per battle, you can reroll. This is the big, crazy one.
Yeah.
You get 1 free reroll for hit roll, wound roll, save roll for your warlord. In addition, if your army's battleforged, your warlord's battlefield, roll a d6 each time you and your opponent uses a stratagem. If the result exactly matches the number of command points spent to use that stratagem, you gain that many command points.
Yeah.
Which, this is one of those weird get command points back abilities, but it matches the amount.
So it's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh.
We do have their unique traits for the mask. So, again, I'm sad, but it makes sense. Just remember with all these, the Solitaire
cannot be your Warlord.
Some of these would be so good for the Solitaire. So we have Midnight Sorrow, which is the Nemesis of the Damned. Each hit roll of 6+ for your Warlord in the fight phase scores 2 hits instead of 1. In addition, you add 1 to hit rolls made by your Warlord against Chaos units.
Because you don't like Chaos.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely throw that on your guy and you could one-shot.
One-shot a Cast Knight.
One-shot a Cast Knight. Definitely. Veiled Path gets the Webway Walker. During deployment, you can set your Warlord up in the Webway instead of placing them on the table. They get to Webway Strike, basically. You can also use the Webway Assault Stratagem twice.
Which is kind of nice.
If you have enough models on the board after doing all that.
Right.
But sure, cool. Frozen Stars get Our King Shall Rise Again. Roll a d6 each time a model from a Frozen Star unit from your army within 6 inches of your Warlord loses its final wound. On a 6, that wound is not mossed. The model is not slain. The Warlord trait has no effect if that unit is under the effects of the Webway Dance Psychic powers.
So you can't stack them.
Which they FAQ'd anyway, so you can't
stack
those anyway. So
there you go.
You can't stack them.
You can't stack them, just to be clear.
Dreaming Shadow gets Warden of the Dead. You add 1 to any Somber Sentinel rolls made for Dreaming Shadows units from your army while they're within 6 inches of your Warlord. Or add 2 instead while there are any Necron units on the battlefield.
Again, the Somber Sentinels, I believe, was the on a 4-up you get to attack again.
It's the page 69.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4-up.
Yeah, it's on a 4-up if you die.
Yeah.
So you get to attack on a 3-up.
You're fighting Necrons, you do it on a 2-up.
2+. Which, yeah, if you're fighting Necrons, totally.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently the Dreaming Shadow has some beef with those Necrons.
They do. Well, Necrons are notoriously not really good with interpretive dance.
Oh, they only do the robot.
Yeah, it's all logic, and they're like, well,
they only do the robot. That's
cannot comprehend fluid movements.
Soaring Spite.
You got Sky Strider. Your Warlord can disembark from a transport even after it is moved.
That's pretty dirty.
That's not bad.
So there's a lot of ways for your Warlord to get up close quick.
And remember, so if you wanted to combo that with the Sky Stride stratagem,
this is a Soaring Spite again.
Right? So you could move your transport full, jump your Warlord out, attack, kill his target, consolidate back into your transport.
Can't catch me.
Yeah, just like, first turn.
I stab you.
Yep. Silent Shroud, the final joke. This is where the Joker does some really bad things, and then Batman kills him at the end.
But he starts laughing.
Right, they laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both laugh, and the Joker apparently dies.
Yeah. If your Warlord is slain in the fight phase, roll a dice on a 2+. The unit that killed your Warlord suffers D3 mortal wounds after it has made all its attacks. If you roll 6, they suffer D6 mortal wounds.
It's the last gasp.
Yeah, sure.
Again, I don't like that one only because your Warlord dies for the trigger.
Yep, so. But, sure. It's flavorful, I guess.
Alright, we are getting to the relics now.
Yep.
There's quite a few in here.
We're just going to go over a couple of them, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're in short time, but yeah, where to start? There are specific relics for each mask. I just drew a blank.
Yep.
Each mask form.
So a couple.
Can we do Curtain Fall? Can we skip straight to Curtain Fall?
Well, we'll go straight to it.
Straight to Curtain Fall.
All right, Curtain Fall. So this is the Dreaming Shadow Death Jester replaces their Shrieker Cannon. So basically, it's a Shrieker Cannon with 30-inch range instead of 24, and increases its strength from 6 to 7. Most importantly, both versions get -2 AP. So
additional.
So
it is a 30-inch range, assault 1 or 3 depending on which option. Both strength 7, AP -3 for Shrieker, AP -2 for Shuriken, and it is 1 damage. However, it's got an additional ability.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's just the normal.
It stacks. It stacks with all the.
It stacks with the ability.
It's got all the other stuff.
If you do roll a wound roll of 6+, that's -4 AP instead of -3.
Yeah,
because it's super good. But again, you could do that with the that ability that lets you.
Yeah, just waterfall.
Yeah. Do some good waterfall.
Curtain Fall, the waterfall. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Another good one to use with something like that is the Mask of Secrets.
Yes.
The bearer increases their leadership by 1. On all enemy units, reduce their leadership by 1 while within 6 inches.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think this one's funny to me. The Star Mist Raiment. The wearer has a 3+ invuln save against ranged weapons. In addition, enemy units cannot fire Overwatch the wearer during a turn in which the wearer advanced. I think this is funny if you stack it with Fractal Storm. Now you have a 3-up in both close combat and shooting.
Yep.
So you just put all of your eggs in one basket, and he can't be shot by Overwatch though. So
no,
that's a plus.
Definitely. The Pseudo Hidden Knives is also kind of a funny one. You run D6. Roll a D6 each time a hit roll of 1 is made from an enemy model, targeting the wearer in the fight phase. On a 2+ on your roll, that model's unit suffers a mortal wound after they've resolved everything.
Did you hit me?
I do believe you can give these to solitaires. Because they are Harlequin characters.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing that says you can't.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
They're characters.
So
yeah.
I think the Pseudo Hidden Knives is great to give to the solitaire. Because you're just going to blink him out into the enemy army, right? By himself. He's going to stab a bunch of people. And they'll be like, oh, now we're going to stab you. And you're like,
I'm going to stab you too.
Nah, you're going to get my knives now.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other cool stuff. There's some generic stuff in here too. Like the Storied Sword is just basically a power sword that's better. D3 damage and you can reroll field hit rolls. The Mirror Staff, which has already been previewed. Foshu's Talon helps you move faster with the soaring spike guys.
Yeah, like
sure,
you need to.
Because you need more movement.
Yeah. I actually, though, the one I think my favorite is Crescendo.
Yeah.
So it's a model with a shuriken pistol only.
Yep.
But what's great about it is your shuriken pistol becomes pistol D6.
Yeah.
And goes up to 2 damage.
Yeah.
Now remember, if you have that certain thing going on, every hit roll every hit roll you get does 2 hits.
2 hits.
On 6s do 3 hits. That's 18 hits. That's 36 damage.
You can kill that
with that one shot.
Hey,
yeah.
with a strength 4 AP0 shot. If you can kill a knight.
If you can do it, I mean, come on. The fact that there's a shuriken pistol that can kill a knight out there.
If you get 6s with this as well,
it
counts
is
as AP -3.
Yeah. So
get it done, guys.
There you go. I mean, I think that having a pistol that does 2 damage and does D6 shots is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, especially with the other abilities in the Codex that can convert pistols to assault weapons for them. It's just nice. A D6 shot weapon with 2 damage is a potential of 12 damage just as is.
Yeah, so
and you start mucking around with the other options.
One
shot a knight.
Yep. So I think this is Codex one shot a knight, which is great because aren't knights the next Codex coming out?
Exactly. So we got to take those knights out before they
get here. It makes sense that this book would be all about killing knights.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff we're going to cover today for Codex Harlequins. Thanks for joining us. I know we went pretty long on this one because longer than we were explaining.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this book's no joke, right?
This book is no joke.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a knight because they can one-shot you.
One-shot you.
So look out.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm Adam.
I'm Abe.
We're both from Bell Lost Souls. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.